Right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the theme of the text. Um, and obviously, My Night with Reg, it was on about the gay scene in London in the 80s. But the main crisis in the 80s in then times was AIDS. And I guess a lot of gay people would get AIDS, especially in them times. And that was a really big crisis, you know. And it's literally My Night with Reg is about a circle of gay friends, um, and it's all in one apartment in a mate's flat. And it's literally about Reg. The thing with Reg died. Yeah, Reg died. Yeah, Re- yeah. All right, shut up, Ash. Right, Reg died, and all the other characters merely filling what Reg did and in his life. Um, and that's a bit of what happened in the 80s. Now we are going to go on to the next part. Right, so next I'm going to talk about the historical context. And the historical context of this text is, especially in them times, I guess it was really hard to come out. Um, because I guess in the 80s it was frowned upon to be gay. And I think from then a lot has changed, but there still is a lot of hate. And the famous people that are around, then were a couple were gay and a couple things happened to them that was not good in them times. And I think that the playwright tried to capture that. Obviously, he might have been in that situation at that time, um, and he wanted to capture how hard it was in them times. And I think he did a really good job of finding the historical context, because especially in them times, like I said, it was very, very hard for people to come out they were gay, because it was, the wedding thing was around, I think. So that's historical context. On to the next one. Right, now I'm going to talk about characterization. And to characterize my night with, well, my character Eric, we have to just read the script a lot and not over dramatize things, because a stereotypical gay we would think would be like, hello, yeah, baby. I don't know, I have no idea, but something like that. And they weren't stereotypical. Well, gays aren't that stereotypical. Normally they're quite manly and just normal, but they are gay. And I think with Eric he was like that. So I had to try and um, not think of like the normal gay as being like I just did, Northern again, and think of it just being normal. And I found that really weird at first, because I couldn't not be non-stereotypical gay, because it just comes with the flow in it, just like, yeah. So that's was hard. Um, and then also we did other things where we would literally just I'd go into a room and read it to myself, and then think back, what would this guy look like? What would this guy sound like? What would this guy, be like? And obviously I did. I thought about it. I watched some films on him, and well, not films, movies about Eric in My Night with Reg, and that's how I come to the conclusion of how he is. So that's characterization. So now I've got some questions that I've been given, and how many scenes are in the play? Well, it has 3 scenes in the play. That's not very many, is it? Yeah, but it's got 3 scenes in the play. Now, how many acts are in the play? I'm not too sure on this. I think it's either 6 or 7 or 5. But I think it's 6. I think there is 6 acts in the play, so yes. Right, so next I'm going to talk about the structure of the text. Firstly, let's talk about the acts. Now, the acts in the play are gay, and it brings a weird structure to the text because it obviously is based on My Night with Reg. So, well, it's based with Reg, I mean. So, we jump around a lot. You know, we chop and change a lot to get to the next character. There's not a really long moment where you're with one person and it keeps chopping and changing, and I think obviously it's because they all live in the same flat. That's why it chops and changes so much. And the scenes, it's variant because the scenes in the play, like I said before, they are all in one flat, so you don't have to. It's not that hard because I was going to be someone else and then I changed to Eric, and it wasn't hard for me to change because where I was at was the same place, so I didn't have to think of another place. You know what I mean? Trying to get my head into another zone because it was already the same. It was already the flat. The only change would be from the flat to the pub, and that is not much of a change. So that's why, yeah. And why this way? Because obviously, like I said, it's in a flat, and all the people live. Well, not live, but they meet there and they talk, and it makes the script very choppy and changey. It never stays still. So that's what I think about the style of the text, or the structure of the text. Let's go on to the next one. Right, so now I'm going to talk about the theme in My Night with Reg. A bit different from what I talked about last time. Now, the theme was, I think, about AIDS. A lot of it was about AIDS, and how hard it was to be gay in the 80s, and what life was like for them. But I think AIDS was the main topic because Reg died from AIDS himself, and I think that's the theme that carries through the whole play. It's in the back of their minds. And obviously it was based, or it was made, or they were apparently in London. That was the theme, in London. And in London, there was a lot of AIDS in the 80s. You know, there was an AIDS problem. And I think that's why. That is why. So that's the theme of My Night with Reg. And now we'll talk about what happened in the 80s. First, there was a natural disaster called St. Helens. That happened and struck England. Well, it struck the world by storm. That was a terrible disaster. And then also there was an assassination of John Lennon in the 80s. But then in the 80s as well, it was a new era, and the old 70s written music got shoved down, and become the new stuff, um, like the Sugar Hill Gang and Blondie Diva, all kinds of new music, and I guess more rap came in around about the 80s. So that's what I've got to tell you about what happened then. Right, so now I'm going to talk about why are there so many scenes when predominantly it's only two characters on the stage. Well, I thought about it for a bit, and I thought, yeah, why is there three scenes for two characters? But it's not two characters though, is it? It's not two characters. There are more than two. And they're talking about Reg's life. They're talking about Reg. And Reg, I think, would be one of them characters. Because Reg was definitely a character himself. And he, died. And I think when someone dies, you seem to talk about them for a long time. I got people that have died, and I still talk to them or think about them today. And I think they were literally cleaning up what he left, all the mess he left, and they were trying to sort it out. So that's what I think about that. Now, what class do I think? Well, I think we are middle class, not very rich, because they go to the pub and they live in a flat. I think they're more studenty. Well, Eric's the youngish, and I think he is like student, and he's not too sure if he's gay or not. But I think near the end of the play, he does turn gay. But at the beginning, he's not sure where he fits in. And yeah, that's what I think about that. Well, the rhythm is. Now we'll talk about what is the rhythm of each character in regards to their, yeah. Well, some of them are more. This sounds horrible to say, but dirty. As in their speech. I couldn't remember. I think it was Daniel, and he was just crazy, and he was a typical gay, like when they take the mick earlier on. But he is a typical, and then Guy is a quite shy, timid, much more timid, and he's not as upfront and all in your face. That's what I think about that. Right, so that's that.